mind if I raise this?
I don't mind. Go ahead.
Hi. Whenever you go out to buy groceries, dinner, or even a quick snack and use cash, chances are you also get a handful of change too. I work as a server where whenever I get coins as a tip, I put in a jar in my trunk. And when I finally counted it all up, it counted up to $34.29 in 3 months, with $4.72 of that being pennies. That is 472 pennies I will probably never use, spend without having 12% cut off from a convenience fee from Coinstar. My main claim is that the U.S. penny actually has a negative impact on the economy. My main points include 1, pennies cost more than they are worth, 2, pennies are now obsolete, and 3, pennies are rarely put back into circulation. The U.S. Mint reported that in 2010, 4.1 billion pennies were produced, and the next year in 2011, 4.93 billion pennies were produced, proving that we are actually starting to produce more and more pennies over the years. And the current cost to make it is 2.4 pennies to 1 penny. U.S. inflation brings pennies worth down, while resource prices bring the copper and zinc prices up. We also waste resources used to produce and transport the pennies, where the New York Times reports that pennies costed taxpayers $39 million in the U.S. in 2015. My second main point is that pennies are now obsolete. Nowadays, we only use pennies for a sales tax, which no one can calculate in their head, making it so it wastes our time. Even kiosks and vending machines no longer accept pennies. The penny was created in 1787, where a steak would cost 18 cents a pound. But nowadays, nothing of worth costs 1 penny. Even taking the time to count out pennies outweighs the actual cost, where the average taxpayer American can make up to 2 cents a second, making so even taking the time to bend down and pick one up wastes your time. My third point is pennies are rarely put back into circulation, where most pennies that are used are either thrown away, forgotten, or lost in between sofa cushions or dropped on the street. Sarah Ward-Jones, the Coinstar spokesperson, quotes that our research indicates that there is approximately $10 billion out of circulation at any given point in the U.S. The amount of change thrown away in trash is $62 million in 2009, according to Contra Energy. Even the TSA reports that $675,000 was left behind in luggage and security checkpoints in 2014. In all of these sources, the majority of change lost was a penny and ranges from 30% to 50% at largest. So in conclusion, getting rid of the penny will both improve the economy and, according to U.S. Times, save the taxpayer up to $39 billion annually. Even other countries have gotten rid of the penny currencies. Canada in 2012, Australia in 1992, Brazil in 2005, and so much more. In conclusion, the penny hurts the economy, where the penny costs more than they are worth, have become obsolete in the modern era, and are rarely put back in circulation. So I hope the next time you get a handful of coins of change, you'll think about how much you spend, and how much of it you'll lose.
All right, well, propositions identified clearly, the contents are laid out for us. Gesundheit. I think a little bit more about the controversy could be suggested. You do have some information about wasteful practices or people's, the notion that it costs more to produce the penny or even pick it up and save it than it does to just ignore it or get rid of it. I do think that it's a little contradictory when you do show that there are substantial amounts of pennies that get thrown away each year or lost, and the amount of cash that they represent, 62 million in one case and $675,000 in another case, that seems like it's a pretty good chunk of change. But I guess the TSA isn't offering to give that away to anybody, because if they were, I'd sign up for that and try and get all the pennies in that situation. I could use $675,000. That would be okay. The idea that the $39 million that we spend producing pennies is going to improve the economy is a little bit thin. A demonstration that it would have a difference on anything, productivity, jobs, construction projects, anything is kind of missing here. It's mostly an argument that says that we spend money that we don't really need to spend, without necessarily showing that if we had it someplace else that there would be an economic benefit. So it's kind of a presupposition that you've got built into the argument. I thought you had pretty good evidence suggesting that the penny does cost a lot. There is a substantial amount of effort that's put into it. The relative lack of utility for the penny is demonstrated with a couple of good pieces of information as well. All right, it's a brief presentation, and I thought you had a nice summary as well. All right, thank you.